Hello and welcome to For the Fans. We are here outside of the Big Brother house with a very special guest once again. He's becoming a a staple on the show now. This is Pooch again for the second time. He's going to be helping us recap tonight. Pooch, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Happy to be back. Obviously, tonight's, I wanted to come back, talk about tonight's episode because it was super exciting. Going to be a crazy week. I can't wait to see how it plays out.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, we got 2 hours to unpack here, and we're both on the East Coast, so it's late here. We're going to jump right into
Oh,
it.
for sure.
What did you think, just generally, about the episode? Did you find it entertaining? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah. So I think, I enjoyed. I think I was looking on Twitter. I don't even know why, but I like to see how everybody else is reacting to it, and I feel like a lot of people thought it was a little bit slow, until getting into the eviction and then getting into the HOH competition and stuff. But I really enjoyed it. I truly do. It's the little things, even the little clips of them showing. Joe and Taylor, tied together, and Indy playing the music, and Terrence's punishment. Like, I think that stuff is all pretty funny. So I don't mind it, that they kind of make little segments for that. But I know some people want to get, right down to the nitty gritty. But I kind of take every little piece of it as the whole experience. So I truly enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about on the show before how, we feel like Big Brother US, Big Brother Canada does a little bit of a better job of putting in those moments where you really get to know the house guests. And we feel
Yeah.
like, Big Brother kind of lacks that sometimes. But we're not missing any of that this season. I,
Yeah.
I will say, I did tweet out that I said the new BB Snooze Fest has started tonight halfway through the episode because it was a
Yeah, they
little
definitely know
slow.
what they're doing. They definitely know what they're doing.
Yeah,
Make sure you kind of suck you in to make sure you're there for that second hour.
yeah. I mean, no one was turning it off either way. So they,
Absolutely,
like you
yeah.
said. But we already did an interview with you, so I'm not gonna be rapid fire questions. But obviously, you were in the house, these people, so there's gonna be some stuff that comes up that you're gonna have a better answers than I will. So the first thing, we have our first live audience of the season.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for you, you didn't get that. What was your take on that? Was it like a damn it moment, or was it like, okay, cool, I'm happy to see this going on?
Yeah, so I thought it was pretty cool. I was excited because I think that's a step closer to making sure, or that meaning that pre-jury will also be allowed at the finale, which is not confirmed 100% yet because of COVID and everything going on. So I feel like that's a step in the right direction, which I love because knowing a lot of the house, I would know all the house guests, and knowing that somebody's life is going to be changed once they win and win that $750,000. Obviously, if some people win over the other, I'd probably be a little bit more excited for. But there's certain people, if I was there for, I think I would want to be there for them. So I'm hoping I do get to be there. So I was excited about it. Really was.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and that would be a hell of a party too. Let's not dismiss that.
Yeah,
If you get to go out there.
absolutely. That's for sure.
Okay, so we kind of jump into the episode here, and the target slowly switches on to Alyssa over one of the. We were left off with Kyle winning veto, and the whole thing with Alyssa stealing
Yep.
the trip to London,
Yeah,
which was
move.
a very interesting move,
Interesting
for
move.
sure. And it slowly switches to Alyssa, and you hear Michael say, this is a rash decision. I think this is emotional, but lo and behold, this is what Taylor wants to do. And Michael does a good job here, I think, of playing double agent like Joseph is doing, but he does it within the leftovers, where he's
Yep.
going to Kyle and saying, yeah, I can't believe they're doing this to you. And then he's running up to the HOH room and he's saying, Kyle better do this. So, I mean, I thought that was interesting. Like I said, Joseph is doing that with the people who aren't in the leftovers. And Michael said, okay, you can go do that. I'm going to do it with the people within the alliance. I just thought that was very smart on his part.
Yeah, and it's like in every man alliance, you need your side alliance. So if it works out as planned and you get there to the end with that main alliance, I was even working it when I tried to make the all guys alliance. You want to have like a mini set in it, so then you have the majority within that alliance. So when it comes down, you're on the right side of things. So what Michael's doing super smart. That's why I think he really has a great chance to win the game. I still think it's like there's no way they could let him because he's shown why he's such a threat, and that's they just keep overlooking him, which I don't think you can. He's putting himself in a really good spot though.
Yeah, I mean, is he just so well integrated at this point where I know there's going to come a time, I think very
Mhm.
soon. I think this week is the time that it's going to happen, obviously, um, where the leftovers are going to have to pick each other off. But has Michael just put himself in such a good position that, people are looking past those wins and they're saying, I need Michael in the game. He's in my corner. Is that sort of the vibe you get from the people?
Yes, it's just he hasn't given people a reason besides winning. It's like Alyssa, gave people a reason to be pissed off because in those competitions, we've all seen Big Brother. You take the veto. You take the veto till you can't, especially when you're not, especially when you could still be a replacement nominee. So it's something where everybody at some point, or they've put themselves up as brought up putting themselves up as a pawn or replacement, or you piss people off. And it just, Michael really hasn't, besides winning things. He's been playing, or just really level-headed. He's not too big of a personality where you're like, okay, he might be, you don't know what he's going to do, he's unexpected. No, he's just Michael, and he kind of lays low and just enough behind the scenes. It would be even more if he wasn't winning competitions. So yeah, he's just setting himself up really well. He truly is.
Yeah, it's crazy to see someone doing so well in competitions and their name just doesn't really come up. It's pretty
Yeah.
crazy to see. I can't remember, another time seeing that not be a factor as much as this
Hmm.
season. So it's pretty interesting. We get in more into the episode and we start to see the punishments come up. Out of the 3 punishments, which one do you think was the worst? I mean, because we see Indy, she gets the punkatard punishment and
Yeah, yeah.
sings. No offense to Indy, but never want to hear her voice again,
I'm
singing
with you.
wise at least. And it seemed like the other
I'm
house
with you.
guests were in agreement. We see Taylor and Joseph get handcuffed together, and they have to do these accents, which are equally as terrible as Indy singing,
Oh yeah.
according to the house guests. And then we see Terrence getting 182 tattoos. Which one would you not want?
See, they all suck so much in different
Yeah.
ways. Like the one where the being chained to somebody else with Taylor and Joseph. At least Taylor got to decide who she was chained to. Like, can you imagine? Like, imagine if Turner had to be chained to Jasmine. Can you imagine how bad that would have been? Or like how much? Like that part in tonight's
Brutal,
episode
brutal.
was hysterical too. Right? They were going around doing the birthday stuff, and Turner was talking about that. That was friggin' hysterical. But God, the tattoos has to be annoying. 182. I think that might be the worst one, honestly, where it's, anytime, you got to wake up and at any time. And I know how they do that. And it truly is. They wake you up. They would wake me up at weird times to do DR. So I know that they were waking him up, Terrence up at weird times, put on those tattoos. So at a point, it'd be like, after like 50, it would be frustrating. And then you still have 130 more. So I think maybe the
Yeah.
tattoo is just so friggin' many.
And I mean, like, even if you like, I remember I went for Halloween. I was a rock star last year. Don't know. Blame that
Yeah.
one on my girlfriend. But even just like I had like these like 4 tattoos. My whole arm felt like I couldn't move. Like, it's so sticky with those
So
things. I can't
yeah, so
imagine.
yeah, so stiff.
Terrence probably felt like a robot.
I
Or like,
know, I know. He had them everywhere, everywhere, man. They
oh
did.
yeah.
I mean, I love my boy Terrence, but he did not look great either. That did not look great on that body. I can't lie.
No,
I
I mean
cannot
he was
lie.
he was a good sport about it,
Oh, for
nonetheless.
sure.
He made it
And that's
funny,
why I
but
think
he
he's still
does.
there. He fits in so well. He truly, people don't see it as much, but a lot of the older casts in different seasons, get voted out right away in week 1 or 2, and obviously he hasn't been a physical threat, but he could sit there and shoot the shit with just about anybody, and I think that's a part of the reason he's still there.
Yeah, I mean that's a really big part of the game, especially if you come in and you're an outcast for any reason. If you're older or whatever it is, you got to kind of try to fit in. So then we have this moment where the leftovers meet around the pool table, and I felt this was probably top 5 most awkward moments of the season. There was just so much. And I think Michael said it, like, nobody's saying anything that happened behind closed doors, but
Yeah.
everybody's thinking it. And you understand Kyle's position, but I also don't really feel bad for him. But when he's kind of squirming, it's made it very awkward. What did you think about that conversation? Him trying to, make it sound logical why he wouldn't use the veto.
Yeah, so it just, I mean, it's everybody's so fake, and that's the game, and you know what I mean, and that's what, because everybody's talking shit where Taylor's like, he has to use the veto. I want him to use the veto, and obviously Michael's playing both sides, and then you have Joseph, who wants him to use the veto, and it's like, I get what Kyle's saying though. Why would he vote somebody out that's good for his game? And it just, if you guys wanted to put and get Alyssa out, then somebody should have won the veto. Somebody else should have won the veto and, got it done. Or it's just something where, even, Taylor, I'm pretty sure in the veto competition could have picked the veto too. So it's something where, it's just at the end of the day, I get why Kyle's doing it. I do. It's another number on his side. So, why would he vote her out? And it's just, I think, is it going to hurt him? Probably. He might be in some trouble. And I do think, Pete, that leftovers group isn't going to. I get it. It looks like he's putting the his showmance above the leftovers. So it's something, like you said, it was a super funny conversation. And I'm happy that Michael brought it up in the DR, because it's just everybody's so fake, and everybody would talk so much shit behind each other's back and how I'm going to do this and this and how aren't they doing this. And then you get to a group discussion, and then Kyle's like, does anybody have a problem with it? And everybody's like, no, like that's cool, I guess.
Sounds great.
So, it's so comical, because you really can't start confrontation, about the wrong things at the wrong time, or puts target in your back. Do I think it will bite him later in the back? Yes, but is there times I think his showmance helped him when he was on the block against Daniel. I think Daniel helped Kyle's case too by kind of popping off and not laying low and kind of running his mouth a little bit. But I also think him having half the house, Kyle, it allowed for him not to get backdoored. I think it's going to not help him this week, but him helping Alyssa could help his game long term. Just kind of depends. I get what he's doing, but it's definitely a funny moment tonight. Definitely a funny moment.
No, for sure. I mean, I thought about something too. And I mean, I can't go into Kyle's head and make this decision, but I thought about it. And if we're just playing Big Brother and there's no emotions about it, I know they always are, but I just thought, what if Kyle, that was a hard competition to throw, but you can definitely, hit one of those.
Yeah.
And it bounces off.
Yes. The metal things.
Yeah. And let Jasmine win that, maybe, or someone else. Jasmine uses the veto on, say, Indy. Alyssa goes up. Kyle didn't even know it was going to happen. Even if he did know it was going to happen, I feel like he needed to make a decision, like leftovers or Alyssa this week. And that would have been an easy way to kind of let Alyssa go without having the blood on his hands. Now, he would have some explaining to do outside of the house, and I think that's why he doesn't do this ultimately. But I just thought about it, and I'm like, if he could have gotten Jasmine to win that, it would have been all the blood on Taylor's hands, no blood on his hands. His showmance doesn't know that he threw it. He still has her jury vote, and he still has the leftovers because he didn't do anything he said he wasn't going to do, right? But again, I don't know their relationship like they do. So, but that leads us to this. Kyle decides not to use the power of veto. And this means that either Indy or Terrence is going to go home. And kind of the same thing. People are pretty pissed about it. And then we have a moment in the storage room where Taylor fake yells.
Funny, yeah.
Like, what's your take on that? Because when I saw it, I hadn't watched the feeds. I didn't know that happened.
Yeah, no, I didn't see that either, or hear about that either until I watched tonight, which I thought was pretty funny. Kyle almost thought it was too much, but it was definitely enough, because Indy didn't think that Taylor had anything to do. We saw in Indy's exit interview, Taylor or Indy thought that Taylor had nothing to do with it, and she was like, Indy thought, that Taylor still wanted Monty when she never wanted Monty. She maybe, wanted Alyssa a little bit more. She never wanted Monty. And then, and it just shows how lost you're on the game, because the live audience sitting there, Julie's sitting there, everybody's sitting there, and everybody's pretty much like, no, dude, but you can't say because they're in jury, and everybody's like, no, that's not what they wanted at all. But it just shows how lost you could be sometimes in the game. So it's like you said, with Kyle winning the POV. I mean, his best bet probably, we all know those competitions. If you come in like third place, you usually can walk away with a prize, and no blood on your hands, which would have been pretty nice. So unless he felt like he really needed to save Alyssa this week, and that was the reason for him doing it, which I don't think he would have known yet, because that was before Alyssa took the prize, obviously, before he came up with a strategy to really win the veto, I guess. But his best bet probably would have been picking up a prize, coming in like third place and just like laying low again that week.
And if Alyssa goes, it wasn't his fault.
Exactly.
Actually, Taylor at that point looks terrible, because it's, Taylor said she wasn't going to put any of the girls up. Now she puts 2 up.
2, yeah. Exactly.
And one of them goes home. This kind of looks like, I doubt everyone's going to buy it, but this kind of looks like, I didn't want Indy to go. I wanted Terrence to go. Something went wrong. And she can kind of sell that, I think. But then we have a moment in one of the bedrooms where the 5 swatters are talking, and I don't want to laugh, because when you make an alliance, like you could hear Indy saying like, yeah, my alliance, it didn't go through.
I was part of a bullshit alliance, a real bullshit alliance. So I'm with Indy. I can't even make fun, because it's like, and I get it, because every time that alliance gets brought up, we all, like, as the fans, and when we sit there and we watch from the outside, we all know it's complete bullshit. And then that poor person like myself or Indy sitting there like, they all got my back, this and that. Like I'd go to war for them, and then it's not the case. It's only a one-sided thing. And so I definitely get about where you're about to go with this, but yeah, it's absolutely tough. It definitely is.
Yeah, like you can't, like when you, like you said, like when you're watching it, you just want to jump through your TV and be like, hey, this isn't real. This is not real, like you said.
Yes.
But this is when the 5 swatters is dead. That they're sitting in there. Why wouldn't Kyle use the veto? Jasmine can't wrap her head around it. Kyle's part of the alliance. Why wouldn't he use the veto? And this is when the 5 swatters is officially dead. If it was alive, it had died in that moment.
And that's the that's the little things you have to pick up on. Like if you are questionable about an alliance, like that's the little things where you gotta be like, okay. And even it's probably too late anyway, but at least you save yourself a little justice, a little dig, looking desperate, but not going to the same people, maybe venture out now and think, maybe, because you feel safe when you have that alliance and you're really relying on those numbers. So, you really, little things like that, you really need to pick up on, that you don't have the numbers, and just, do what you need to do to try to get other numbers. But I definitely get, it's tough. It absolutely is. It's something like you said, with Kyle, or like you said, with Alyssa, her going home this week probably would have been a really bad look, for either Kyle. If Kyle used a veto and Alyssa goes home, how is Alyssa ever going to give Kyle a vote for Jerry? It would never happen. Ever happen
after the show.
Exactly. Exactly. So I get it.
Those things won't happen.
I mean, I handed Alyssa a backstage pass shirt, and that was the first, we laughed about it later, but she pierced through everybody else. I gave it to Paloma. Paloma hugged me. She was like, oh, it's okay. I gave it to Brittany. She was like, oh, it's okay. When I gave the backstage pass shirt to Alyssa, she looked through my soul with like dark, whatever, brown eyes. I definitely, she holds a little bit of a vengeance, at least for a little bit. So it's something where it would have been a bad move for Kyle. I think it really would have been, once he actually did win the veto. He could have put himself in a better situation. But like we talked about, after he won it, I think it was something where, besides the 5 swatters now knowing they didn't exist, but they never had the numbers anyway. If it's an alliance, the biggest thing is if you have the numbers or not, and there was never any numbers. You keep that alliance in case one of them wins HOH. So you're on that good side, just a way of playing, both sides of the house. But
yeah, and I mean, we not laugh, but we look at someone like Alyssa or Jasmine, and we say, how can't they see it? But then tonight we get a glimpse in there, and Joseph, after they're talking about Taylor's freak out, Joseph's like, yeah, I'm not going up there. I mean, how are you like, you're gonna fall for that, like that. He was a great actor in that sense. They're being fed all these lies 24/7. So Joseph saying, I'm not going out, I'm not talking to Taylor, when he very well knows this is an act and everything. If you're Jasmine, how can you decipher whether that's the truth or a lie. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna say, oh, he's being honest. He doesn't want to go up there.
Yeah,
So
no,
just these
there's a
little
lot of
things.
yeah, there's a lot of really good actors. Another piece that you bring that up, just one of my favorite parts of the episode tonight was the chess, where they were all playing chess.
Yes.
They were talking about playing not to win, which is extremely smart, especially with Joseph, super smart, and even Michael doing it too. And it's hysterical how not I don't know if they're both picking up on each other, but they're both picking up in general that like this is weird. Like there's a lot of easy moves that people are missing. And it's funny because Kyle's sitting there has no idea. I am not a big chess player. I'd be sitting there absolutely clueless.
Yeah,
And
same
it's
here.
pretty, yeah, it's pretty
Super.
funny that there's people, like Joseph and Michael who are just shows, how well they are at the game right now. That they literally little things like that. They're just making sure they don't even win at chess. So it's just super smart.
Yeah, no, I wrote that down on my notes too. I thought that was like you said, not only knowing not to play well themselves, but also picking up. Some other people might be doing the same exact thing.
Yeah,
I think it
really
just shows
smart.
the high level of gameplay this season, and that's why we're loving it. So then we move on to yeah, Sheldon says that was one of the best scenes of the season. Sheldon is a big
Really
fan,
good.
like we were talking about, of
Shout out
like the
Sheldon.
yeah, shout out to Shelly, Uncle Shelly, and we Sheldon's another big fan of like those little moments where you see more into the person, the player, things like that. Um, but then, so we get into a more serious topic here. Michael and Brittany are talking about the fact that Kyle believes there may be another all minority alliance, like the cookout from last season.
Mhm.
And we covered this last night as well. I didn't get to watch the feeds as this was going on. I kind of just heard from last night and then saw from today. I know Kyle's been getting a lot of hate on Twitter for that. And
Yeah.
just, wasn't try to save Alyssa. So I'm going to make this up.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just think paranoia in the game and everything else coming into play. But yeah, I can't really break that one down. I'm not in the house,
Yeah, no, it's something where it's been going on, I guess, for about a week now, maybe a little bit more that I've seen um, kind of with Kyle bringing that up. And like you said, I think it could be a little bit of paranoia setting in, and not to make excuses, but it's something where I guess you don't want to make accusations of something. But I mean, you could always be aware. It's okay to try and be aware, but until it's something that, where you can really put your finger on it, or you have like definitive facts to say, okay, these people are definitely working together. It's probably tough, to try and just do that, or group those people, together. Obviously, the cookout changed the game of Big Brother forever, and in a good way. And I understand it's something that I guess you need to be aware of, different people with different moral beliefs, backgrounds, kind of coming together and working together. But it's something where, until it kind of happens, or you could see it, or you really pick up on, which I don't know. I'm obviously, like you said, I'm not in the house either right now. So it's like, is there a certain group of people that's hanging out 24/7? I don't know. From what I've seen in the show, not really, so unless it's something like that, it's kind of, like you said, just kind of tough to, you don't want to kind of like, and I think Brittany spoke about it too. You just don't want to tie anybody together, unnecessarily until it's 100%, kind of made sure, or you have a really good feeling about it.
Yeah, for sure. Like kind of what we touched on yesterday. We said, it's not unfair to think of the possibility of this. Like we
Yeah,
said,
absolutely.
it's good to
Yeah,
be
it's
aware. But
aware of it.
we have gone through, who has been nominated when certain people were HOH and stuff, and it doesn't really add up. It's when you don't have
Mhm.
a ton of evidence. You know what I mean? That's sort of
Yeah, exactly. That's the
and I
one
think
thing. Like, yeah, exactly. It's just if there was more, I guess, reoccurring evidence, or more of a pattern, or like more of a theme, I'd say okay, maybe, but I don't think there's enough there, at least not yet, where it's something that is. I think Kyle should be too worried about. At least I wouldn't
yeah,
be. Maybe it's just 'cause I'm in the house, and he's working with, he's in the leftovers with Joseph, Taylor, Monty, and I mean they've proven to be very strong as a group. So I think that should show, that kind of they were solid. Like that's the biggest solid group in the house. And even if there is a group of, like the cookout, a different group of people with, with, what am I trying to say? Different group of people with, trying to, that's there for representation. You know what I mean? That the leftovers still have the power in the house. I think that's what Kyle has to be worried about. And I think they've shown that everybody in the leftovers right now is, they've done what they've said and they've been for the leftovers. The person who probably has been the least for the leftovers is Kyle, honestly, just with the whole Alyssa thing. And I like Kyle, but honestly, just Kyle with keeping Alyssa, but I think that's good for his game. But yeah, I definitely I get why. I don't think he's doing it. I don't think Kyle's a racist. I don't think he's doing it out of the is it a great look? Probably not. It's not something that, I get that you could be aware of, but it's not something that you could really push for. And I don't know if he has been pushing for it. Obviously, I'm not in the house and I don't know how much has been being brought up besides just seeing stuff on Twitter. So, yeah, I think right now, I think he just needs to be worried that the leftovers are in a good spot and kind of not even that right now. He needs to worry about that split house, just making it out of that mess alive, honestly.
Yeah, this is gonna be a fun week. Well, moving on to something, I guess less serious. Kyle and Alyssa become official, which we kind of already saw coming in the last few days. I won't add any more details, but we kind of saw that coming, and now they are boyfriend and girlfriend. Though Kyle goes around and basically says the complete opposite, like, yeah, I told her I need some space and I need to, which I think is a decent strategy, but they didn't really show Alyssa and Kyle agreeing not to tell everyone. Like the first thing that came to my mind is Alyssa going to Jasmine and being like, "Oh my God, he asked me out," and that just goes out like wildfire.
That is just like even when they first did it for the first time, Alyssa told Turner, and then it spread around the house, and it's like it put a target on there. Like it's just not good. There's some information that you just don't need to share with the house. I'm happy for Alyssa and Kyle, but I don't think they need to share that. And I hope it doesn't get out that they're official. Because it makes them look even stronger. So it's something, it's just one of the things. Like I saw a clip of Alyssa on Twitter of her sitting there in the have not room, and she's like, "Oh, like I just want to pause the game. Like I love him so much. Like I don't even know if I'm here for the game anymore." Da da da. And I'm just like, "Oh, like how did people like this stay longer than me? Like, oh my God! Like, what do you mean? Like,
please put me back in the game."
Yeah, holy crap! Like it just shows how bad or poor of a job I did. I couldn't make it past. Half these people are either in love or just being absolutely clueless now or this and that. And I'm like, was I that bad at the game? And I'm just like, oh my God, I should have just laid low for a couple of weeks. I probably would have been doing fine right now. Just having fun with Kyle and Alyssa. That they're obviously whatever makes them happy, will make me happy. It'll be interesting to see how long that lasts in the real world, because I do think they are two very different people. But they seem interested in each other, so I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we got B Bean here, kind of putting you on the spot, but he says, "Is Pooch surprised that they smashed?"
No, so I'm not at all, because even you could tell from week one, Alyssa had her eyes on Kyle 100%. Alyssa was probably not, I don't want to say way more interested, but was very not vocal, but in her actions, I think in what she told the girls. And even to a sense where she was so jealous when Taylor was around him. And this is when me and Taylor were on the block, where I was like, I'm not even nervous that the girls are going to, keep Taylor, because I was like, Alyssa dislikes Taylor so much, or gets so jealous when Kyle's around him, that I was like, Alyssa's going to make sure the girls vote out Taylor and keep me, which is a mistake. But, because that's why I would say, because they're so petty and, going to be so jealous, I was like, I'm literally still going to be in the house. Because of some BS, some personal BS. I'm not surprised at all. I'm really not. It's funny because from things in the live feeds I've seen, Alyssa is vocally spoke in the house and be like, guys like Pooch are usually my type, a little bit more of the jock, I guess more
Ooh,
a little bit more of like the asshole, I guess. And I guess that probably hasn't worked for her. I know a lot of my relationships haven't worked, and a lot of girls I've dated would probably say didn't, and I think she's from what she said that Alyssa's trying something different, which a lot of my exes I think have said after me too. So I definitely, not surprised by it. I think if I could have been in that spot, I would have managed it, way better because I feel like Kyle falls into love fast. I'm the opposite. I'm kind of like I get bored easily. But in the sense, it's like I think I would have rode it out very long, but really like in a slow way, where like keeping her almost wanting more and more, and it would have really helped me in the house. And that's the only reason I wanted the showmance, because if you get it in a showmance with the right girl who has like the right leverage in the house at that point, and Alyssa and obviously when more girls were still in the house, but in a good spot in the house with a lot of the girls, I think that definitely would have helped my game. Absolutely. So no, not surprised, and I think it has helped and hurt the game at different points so far.
Yeah, I could definitely agree with that. I think now it's getting to the point where it's definitely starting to hurt their game, especially Kyle's. I feel like Kyle was in a great spot. I said yesterday, I think this kind of only benefits Alyssa, because it doesn't benefit the leftovers because, they had Kyle and now they kind of lost him.
Yeah, a little bit.
And then, but Alyssa, whereas, she could have gone home 2-3 weeks ago, maybe, or 2-3 rounds ago,
Yeah.
and, Kyle's just kind of navigated it where she doesn't really hit the block. I mean, especially this week. But that leads us to who actually did go home by a vote of 7-1. Indy gets voted out. And she doesn't seem too surprised. She says she wants to look pretty when she hugs everyone, so she takes off a couple of the accessories she got for her Puncatard or whatever it was called. And she hugs everyone, gives a long speech. I was surprised Julia
At the
did not
door.
interject
Yes,
there.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, "There's no way," and I was like, literally when I was watching I was like, "Huh." I wonder if I literally said in my head, I was like, I wonder if I could have got away with some shit like that, especially because my show wasn't live. Yeah, my show wasn't live, so like they could have just cut it out, I guess, if they didn't want it. But I was like, I wonder if I literally said, I was like, I wonder if I could have got away with some shit like that. Not that I had more to say. I was kind of just pissed at the time. I wanted to, leave anyway. Not leave the game, but once I got voted out, I was just like in shock and had nothing left to say.
And just like, peace.
But yeah, that's Indy. She'll always have, not in a bad way, but she'll always have kind of something to say in her 2 cents, and definitely had it hurt before she was left.
Yeah, and I think this is a very real moment for Indy, like watching Indy throughout this game. This was one of the realest moments because during that speech as she's leaving, it's very happy and like I support all of you. I hope the best person wins.
Yeah.
And then it kind of transitions to, it almost like hits her like, holy shit, these people just voted me out. And she starts, saying like, if the wrong person wins though, that is not going to be okay. Like I am voting. And it was just like, okay.
I would not want. Yeah, I would not want, like, if I was in the I wouldn't want Indy in jury because I know she holds a grudge. I know Indy holds a grudge. So it's something where if I voted Indy's ass out and was the master manipulator, like it's something where I'd have to make sure like that wasn't seen or like, put on notice and that's why I think Michael did a great job, with his one vote and what he said in his goodbye speech. Because he gave her a piece of information. Like I remember Michael and Indy, at least when I was in the house, were not that close. Like did not hang out all the time, did not. So when he was like, "Hey, I really want to throw a sympathy vote," if there was somebody that threw a sympathy vote and it would have made sense, I thought it was Joseph and Joseph, or just because I think he was very close with Indy. But I think it was something where Michael throwing that sympathy vote and then his goodbye message, he knows exactly what he's doing, and he does everything he does is with purpose and for the game. But like you said, I think depending who goes to the end, Indy's going to know very clearly, it's one person or the other. It's not going to be a tough decision for her, I don't believe.
You probably go into it knowing who she's voting for.
I think
swayed either way. Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
I could see that.
Whoever. It's one of those things like when the jury asks questions to the final two, I don't think that's something that will sway Indy's mind. I think her mind will be made up already, on who it is. She's a strong-willed, strong-minded person. And I think it'll probably be set in stone just by whoever their final two are.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. And then also, yeah, so we get into those goodbye messages, and it seems like I thought these were some of the best goodbye messages from the last few seasons, at least, because we have Taylor and Joseph playing I'll get these people. Joseph says that, I'm gonna figure out what happened here, blah blah blah, and then Taylor's like, I did not want this to happen. Like, this is ridiculous, blah blah blah, and then Michael's like, no, there's a 7-person alliance.
Yes, the last
They're
one.
both
Yep.
in
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
They're both in
Mhm.
it, and Indy's face kind of just goes like, fuck, you know what I mean? Like, God
Yeah,
damn it,
yeah.
I should have seen
She's like,
this.
my intuition. She's like, I had a feeling, and I hope that last thing, and that's why Michael is so smart because he did that because he's like, no, you guys are all catching a pass right here. He was like, I'm about to catch a pass and screw all y'all, and I'm at least going to be real with her, because it's like she can't know that information obviously until after jury or if it's brought up during the jury questions. So it's something, and obviously the more people in the house in the jury house are going to talk about things, and more things will come out. But it's something where, yeah, and Michael's super smart. All the goodbye messages were really good. Like you said, Joseph's Taylor really setting himself up well. And then in comes Michael and kind of screwed them all up. No, screwed them all up. So pretty funny, but all really smart. They were all doing what they feel like they needed to do because right now, I mean, it's jury time, it's go time. Your odds to win $750,000 are pretty damn good. So right now, if the BS thing was good beforehand, it's going to get even better. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what the goodbye messages now that jury has started. They're going to be great. And like you
Yeah.
said, those little things that, we see a lot of the players do in the house, but it seems like Michael really hits them any chance he gets. Like something as simple as a message. He could have just said, Indy, I can't wait to see you outside of the house. Love you.
Absolutely.
Have a
Yeah.
good one. He takes advantage of every opportunity he gets. And yeah, I mean, it was a great move. So then we get into Julie sits everyone down. They seem annoyed to have to be talking to Julie. They just
Yeah,
they
you
just
always know
voted Indy
something's
out.
up. Yeah,
Yeah,
something's up for sure.
and I think they're sitting there like probably thinking it's a double eviction. We haven't had one yet. That's what I would be thinking at least.
Absolutely, yeah. You know what I thought
And
too? So sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
are
off.
you good? Are you
You know what I think? Obviously, it didn't come up, and you know what I 100 or I guess maybe because it was too late towards jury, but I wouldn't even have put that together if I was in the house and the way that was being explained, where Julie was like, "There's going to be two games going on at once." I would have thought, "Holy shit!" Like there was a jury because this was the first jury member, right? Yeah. So I would have thought, okay, there's the first jury member and the pre-jury people, and there's a battle back, and what they're doing is making them play like their own game right now, and now whoever like survives that week or whatever the case may be, however they did it, they're playing the separate game where only like one person makes it out and comes back into the house. I honestly thought by looking in the people, because before Julie even finished it, people, the look on their faces were like, oh, F, oh, shit.
yeah. Oh
And I
yeah.
kind of thought like right away, they were thinking, okay, two separate games, two separate houses. I think right away they were thinking that, oh, shit, like somebody else is coming back because it wasn't a straight up, hey, it's just a double eviction, which this is like a more complicated, more elaborate double eviction, which is coming up. But I truly thought right away, just looking at their faces, because I know my face. If there's a bunch of people I evicted and I think they're coming back into the game, I would have been making those same faces, which looked a
Yeah.
lot
Yeah.
worse than
I
what was
wonder if they
going
thought
on.
that, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing, because I think that is like they could have done that, and that would have been absolutely insane. Would have added a completely different aspect to this.
Yeah.
But the only thing is that Indy made the jury already. If the
Yeah,
jury hadn't
exactly.
started and it was just
That's the one
pre-jury, it would
thing.
have been
Yeah.
cool if they did like a competition where, like you said, maybe like 3 different games going on. One person makes it out of that one, 2 people get evicted from that one,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
also just speculating here, or they have every pre-juror play in a competition, and the two people who make it go into one, each of them go into one of those houses, and if
Yeah,
they can make it through the round,
oh, for sure. Yeah, that
then
would
they're
have
in
been
the game.
that would have been a really good one. Save that for right now, where they split the house in half. Um, kind of throw somebody on each side, exactly like you're saying, and then next thing you know, if they make it through the round, and then those two people are back, that would have been pretty wild because half the house wouldn't know who's back. Yeah, that would have been
Yeah.
pretty good.
I
Absolutely,
mean,
that would have
and
been a
then
really good one.
also, it's one of those things where if someone comes back, just wins a battle back, they're almost always going to be targeted right off the bat
Mm,
because they already got voted out. They already have bad blood, things like that. Um, but in this case, if you're able to survive that round, you strategize with people. Maybe you made an alliance, and if you make it, you deserve to be back in the house at that point.
absolutely.
You could set yourself up during that time, maybe.
And it gives you a little
For
bit better odds only dealing with half the house. If you get a good roll of the dice in the right half of people, anything's possible.
for
Definitely, I
sure.
don't, I don't think it was an option for CBS. At least they didn't give me a call. Um,
Yeah,
but would they're really cool. Would have been a really cool idea. Maybe if they do the same twist next year, and then they decide, hey, maybe with COVID and everything, they could finally do one of the battle backs, for the first time in a while, and they could do something like that where they bring two people in on each side of the split house. Next thing you know, you don't know and kind of who's back until that week's over, and that'd be pretty crazy. So
well, we're gonna
we
send
got.
them this clip,
Yeah, I was gonna say
and
we got to send CBS. I'm telling you, it would get views, 100%,
yeah. Oh, I would have been.
150%
This would have changed the whole
easily.
night if we
Absolutely.
had let's just say you on one side and like Amira on another
I
side or
think
so. It
people
would
would
have
be going
changed everything.
crazy. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think absolutely. And
it
I
would have
don't
been
think the house
nuts.
guests would be happy about it, at least not right away. Certain ones would not be happy about it.
No,
Certain people would
and
be
the other
really
half would have no
yeah.
idea it's even going like
Yes,
that. The other,
exactly.
yeah. So
Exactly.
CBS, give us a call. We can run this for you. So then we get into the HOH competition. There's going to be two of them. We also find out that one game is going to be played outside completely. One game is going to be
Oh,
inside. And I
yeah.
saw someone
Yeah.
tweet. I'm sorry I can't give you credit. I didn't catch your username, but someone tweeted they're more excited. They're less excited to see who's outside and who's inside as they are to see if the outside is complete like have not and the inside's like
Yes,
complete
yes.
luxury. That would be great.
Yes, yeah.
Um, but so we get the competition. It's one of those elimination challenges. You press a button, you pick the next two to
Mhm.
go. I love those personally. I think it's fun for the audience to watch. Like
Yeah, for sure.
there's
You
some that you
pick,
can
yeah, it's
get. Yeah.
strategic. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm. And just if you can get it before the player does, it's like, oh, this is fun. It's like playing
Yeah,
Jeopardy and you
absolutely.
like get a question
Exactly.
right. So we get two HOHs, Michael, of course. I mean, obviously, and Terrence.
Yeah,
And
yeah, which is
that's
crazy because we
that's
keep
different.
saying everybody was saying yes. Oh, he's not going to win shit. I was saying it. I was saying for this whole week, I was like, why would you vote Terrence out? Terrence is not going to win shit. You know what I mean? Not ever. And I would have been one of those people that this week, if I would kept saying that shit and I didn't keep my close ties with Terrence, I probably would have been in a lot of trouble. So it shows, just got to win things at the right place, right time. And, Terrence did. And I know his side of the house is going to be very interesting,
Yes.
because he's no dummy. I think he will make a strong move. And I feel that somebody who thought their game was in a very good spot is going to be in trouble. And this is a great week for Michael to take a shot, too.
Yeah, I thought honestly when we first heard about this twist, I thought in my head, there's no way Michael doesn't go home here. Like, if there's
Yeah.
any time for him to be concerned, I think it's this twist. I mean, it's quick, easy, efficient. Sorry, Michael, leftovers
Yep.
can't save you. You're out the door. You've won 30,000 competitions. But again, the dude knows when to win, or like his timing is
Unreal.
just perfect.
Unreal.
And I don't know about you, but this season in particular has because when you see the cast, you think, oh, this dude's gonna, you think Monty's gonna be amazing at challenges. You think
Mm-hmm.
Joseph's gonna be amazing at challenges. Someone might say, Pooch is gonna be great at challenges. Like you have like the kind of like the bigger dudes. But is this season showing us that in Big Brother, you're throwing a ball at a guitar and whoever's the best at that will do well? Like, is that what we're seeing? Like,
Yeah, no, it truly, and that was the thing too. I don't even think I realized, and I'm a big fan. I've watched the show for years, and I didn't realize how well that Big Brother does and the people that make the games at making sure that it's not just the most physically fit people that win. They do a really good job of making sure that, yeah, it's a little bit of endurance, but you always need a strategy, almost always when you're playing these games. So they do a really good job of making sure that, anybody could truly win because you see all different shapes, sizes, ages. If it's something where if it's, hey, pick this up and pick up this heavy thing and bring it here or
Yeah,
race back and forth, it's going to be, it's not going to be totally fair. Even with the wall comp, one of the endurance things, usually the bigger, stronger guys don't always win because you got to keep yourself up on that friggin' wall for so long. So it's
exactly.
something,
Yeah,
and you got to keep all your body weight. So like you're saying, yeah, I think it's definitely glorifying it this year. Absolutely. Because you see it in the past. It's a lot of the competitions are the same, but what Michael, continuing to win, it's pretty incredible. And he is, I mean, for being 6'3", some of the, I guess, physical competitions, he's definitely surprised, but you kind of makes sense at the same time, at least in the ones where he could really use his length. But yeah, he's doing an outstanding job. He really, like you said, it's like winning's only a problem if it stops, and if you keep winning, it's not an issue. That's the thing. You're saying that you're a
yeah,
threat, you're in trouble, but people can't send your ass home if you keep winning, which is
yeah.
hard to
I
do.
mean,
It's not easy. But he keeps continuing to do that, which is pretty incredible.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see, as his name will inevitably come up, and it'll be interesting to see if he's because I mean the last time we saw him in a kind of do or die situation was week one, where he was
Yep.
nominated week one and he won, but it'll
Oh, the
be
pool
interesting to
noodle. Yeah,
see.
the pool
Yeah,
noodle, Vito. I was sitting there watching that one. I won't forget that for
yeah,
sure.
with the yep the
Yeah.
jousting. But it'll be interesting to see when it gets down to you know him really needing to win and he's that close to the end. Is his luck going to run out, or is he going to just continue to make history in the game? So that kind of wraps up the episode tonight. We were told that there's going to be a schoolyard pick, and now I think that means that you know Terrence. I guess it'll be Michael's pick. Michael picks someone, and then Terrence picks someone, and then whoever Michael picked picks someone, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
goes
Yeah.
down the
Yeah.
line that way. What are your thoughts on that? Because when I first heard that, I thought they can kind of stack the lineup here. You know?
Yeah, so it's interesting because you could stack a side, but at the same time, then if somebody gets stuck on the other side of the house, you're potentially screwed. It's something where if not everybody's on your side, so it's tough and it's interesting to see what's going to happen because it's like you could pick somebody, and next thing you know, if your ally goes on the block, it's like you lose that vote anyway, or you lose that number, that you thought would be, able to help in the case scenario. But if the HOH puts that person up, now you lose the number you thought you actually were going to have in the votes that week because obviously the nominee can't vote. So it's something that, yeah, I definitely think could be interesting, and then yeah, it'll be definitely interesting to see how it plays out and how the sides are picked. Because you obviously have to do it pretty fast and try and do it as most strategic as possible, and you don't want to overstack one side of the house, but you don't want to understack it either. Absolutely.
And I mean, just in my mind right now, I'm thinking obviously it depends on who's with Michael and who's with Terrence. But right now, in my mind, I think that maybe Kyle is in the most trouble during this twist. And I think here's why. And I want to ask you too, like, who do you think is in a lot of trouble? But I think Kyle is in the most trouble because let's just say he's with Michael. Michael has made it clear now that the leftovers need to kind of start going after one another.
Mm-hmm.
It's also an easy thing to say, Kyle didn't do us a favor last week. He did what he wanted to do. Well, we're going to do what we want to do and get him out. If he's with Terrence, kind of the same thing. Terrence doesn't
Yeah.
know anything to Kyle. Whereas, I mean, yeah, they could take Alyssa out, I guess. But that side is so weak now that I think this is a leftover. This might be a double leftover eviction. Honestly, I think that's probably what I would predict.
Yeah, no, I think, like you were saying, I think Kyle could definitely be in some trouble. I think Alyssa could definitely be in some trouble too. Um, I think potentially, Terrence won the HOH, and I think he knows that Taylor and Monty are working together. I wouldn't be surprised if he puts those two on the block, or he was assuming all week, that's kind of what. So if that's still where his head's at, that he thinks those two are in an alliance, they could be in trouble. So it's something. It'll definitely be interesting. You got to see. This will really show because they haven't shown a ton of, Terrence during the edit. And who he's talked who he's talked game with during the show. So this would definitely be interesting to see, who, because I don't think there's been that many people, at least left loyal to Terrence. So it'll be very interesting to see who he puts up, because those are obviously two people that, probably haven't spoken to him really much at all. So definitely an interesting week.
For sure. And I mean, just kind of a fun question here that I wrote down. Who do we want to see outside? Because I have one. So for content, we've seen people go on slop and cry and, kind of make a fool of themselves because it's not that big of a deal. Who is going to complain the most about being outside? And
I know not Turner. Turner
lives
out
there.
Him. Yeah, he got to live out there. So I know not him.
I was thinking maybe Jasmine.
Oh, 100%. That was going to be my first choice.
Yeah, the situation. Yeah, BB. Yeah, so we got Sheldon.
I was on her side, or not on her side, but the ankle was swollen right away when she did spraying it a couple of weeks ago. But it's been like a month now. It's literally been a month. Like the whole cane. Like when I saw her walking with the cane at the veto competition, walking up to the stage with the guitar. Now I'm finally on board with all the fans. Or I'm like, come on, give it a break. Yeah. So send her outside, please. I think that'll just do what she's got asked to do to get rid of the cane, the boot, and whatever.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I've been a little harsh on Jasmine as far as the foot situation. I'm not a doctor, but like you said, I'm really starting to back up what I said, and I'm happy about that, because I was a little harsh in the beginning. I'm like, this doesn't really add up. I think she might be milking it a little bit. But
see, I was the opposite. I was the opposite.
But now you're on board though, right?
Yeah. Now I'm because everybody was asking, I'm like, no, the foot was sprained really bad, guys. It really was bad. You can't, just let it heal. It's bad. Yeah. But now it's it's been a month. And she's still limping along.
And she's also leaning with she during the guitar. Well, okay, I just want to say, I mean, she ran up the thing on OTEV, then she fell off the wall challenge right on it, and then during the guitar challenge, with the cane, she's leading with that foot.
Yes.
And I'm like, you're not giving me any. You're not giving me anything.
Yes. Yeah. Not adding up. So yes, if we see Jasmine outside, that would be pretty funny. That would be pretty. I'm telling you, that would definitely be good content. I hope, if that's the case, I hope Turner and Jasmine are outside, because he thrives in that environment. Turner does, and Jasmine obviously doesn't. So that will just make for even more better TV. Absolutely. So I'd be super excited to see that. Hopefully.
Yeah, we need that. Now that you bring that up, that is. I want Jasmine out there, but I want Turner and Jasmine out there way more than one of the two.
Yes, absolutely. Sure. Absolutely.
All right. Well, I mean, I think that wraps everything up. We had a 2-hour episode of Big Brother. This next week is going to be absolutely insane. We're going to have CJ and Kevin running the Monday night episode. So tune in for that. Pooch, thanks for joining us again. It's always a pleasure.
Awesome. Yeah, have a blast. Love talking Big Brother, especially you guys have been awesome, so I appreciate it.
Thanks for joining. Where can everyone find you? I know you're doing some stuff on TikTok. I don't know what happened to Pooch, but here's where you can find Pooch, Poochie_Maine. Here's where you can find me, MR Babbling, because that's what I do. And if you want to follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all those fun things, it is @ForTheFansReality. Thanks for tuning in. I hope Pooch is okay. And we'll talk to you later. Have a good night.